They weren't Wall Street bankers, they weren't politicians, they were YouTubers. Pranksters, party animals, the kind of guys who made millions shotgunning beer and screaming full send. But in 2022, they went from viral icons to the orchestrators of what might be one of the most overlooked NFT scams of all time.
Tomorrow, we are going to be announcing our NFT project.
$23 million vanished, and their most loyal fans left holding the bag. Before the fame, before the merch drops, before the $23 million NFT controversy, there was just a camera, a few teenagers, and a mission to make strangers uncomfortable. This was Nelk. The channel was founded in 2010 by Canadian teens Carl Forgard and Jesse Sebastiani. They were filmmaking pranks, low budget, barely edited, but raw, relatable, and most importantly, funny. But in 2015, everything changed. That's when they uploaded a video titled Coke Prank on Cops.
I can't do this.
Man.
We have a bunch of Coke in the back. I'm sorry.
Dude.
A bunch of Coke in the back?
I'm sorry.
Kyle.
All right. Okay, man. Step out of the... We're going to do this one by one.
One of the officers starts to handcuff them. The other goes around to check the trunk. Instead of cocaine, it is just Coca-Cola.
The video exploded, millions of views in days, and that was the blueprint. Push boundaries, trigger reactions, film everything. By 2017, Nelk had added new members. Lucas Gasparini, Steve DeLeonardis, known as Steve Wildot, and later Salim, Aaron Steinberg, Steiny, and others. They were what YouTube wasn't prepared for. Too real, too controversial, too chaotic, and eventually, YouTube started fighting back. Their channel was demonetized in 2017.
We never got paid off YouTube. We were demonetized since day one.
So they adapted. No sponsors, no YouTube checks, just merch. In 2018, they launched Full Send, a clothing line built around their identity, partying, pranking, and going all in. It wasn't just a brand, it was a rebellion. Their strategy? Scarcity plus community. Limited drops, countdown timers, hyped promo videos, streetwear pricing. They tapped into something YouTube couldn't algorithmically explain: loyalty. In 2020 alone, Full Send reportedly generated $25 million in merch sales, with zero ad spend. Everything sold out because everything was marketed organically through Nelk's content. Then came Happy Dad, their hard seltzer brand. If Full Send was the engine, Happy Dad was the fuel that pushed the brand mainstream. Launched in June 2021, Happy Dad wasn't some slap a label on it celebrity drink. It was built from the ground up. And the man who helped make that happen, John Shahidi. John Shahidi wasn't just another YouTube manager, he was the former president of Shot Studio, a media company that had built careers for influencers like Lele Pons, Rudy Mancuso, and Anwar Jabari. More importantly, he understood something most creators never do: influence fades, brands last. So when Kyle approached him in 2020, Shahidi didn't try and tone things down, he scaled it up. He and his brother Sam Shahidi helped co-found Happy Dad alongside the Nelk team, and what they built was more than a drink. It was a distribution empire. By late 2021, Happy Dad had landed in Walmart's, Total Wine, 7-Eleven, and Kroger. They launched with 8 core states, then quickly expanded across 30-plus US markets. They even created a limited edition Death Row Records flavor, leveraging their friendship with Snoop Dogg. And the marketing practically free. Because Nelk didn't need commercials, they had millions of loyal followers, watching every vlog, podcast, and prank. Every time Kyle or Steve cracked open a can on camera, product sold. But behind the numbers was a deeper shift. Nelk wasn't just an entertainment brand anymore, it was a consumer product powerhouse. And John Shahidi was quietly turning chaos into strategy, managing partnerships, logistics, legal, talent, and planning. Kyle was still the face, but Shahidi, he was the machine behind the mask, which makes what happens next so much more complicated, because just a few months later, Shahidi would disappear from the picture, and fans who bought into Nelk's next venture would be left wondering why the man who made it all work walked away. By 2021, Nelk wasn't just a YouTube channel. It was a movement, a brand powered by a fanbase so loyal they didn't just watch, they worshipped. And he wasn't exaggerating. These fans didn't just stream the videos, they lined up for hours outside of corner stores for Happy Dad drops. They crashed Shopify during Full Send merch launches. They got Full Send tattooed on their bodies. The Nelk Boys didn't just build a brand, they built a community. One where being a fan meant something more. You were part of the crew, part of the lifestyle. You weren't just buying a t-shirt, you were buying belonging. And Nelk understood that. So when the NFT boom took over the internet and creators everywhere were launching their own tokens, JPEGs, and blockchain promises, Nelk didn't want to miss the wave, but they also didn't want to fake it. Their pitch wasn't about crypto, it was about access. In January 2022, they launched the Full Send Metacard, a 10,000-piece NFT collection, but it wasn't advertised as art, it was marketed as a digital membership pass.
But it's kind of like our fans give us money, right? So we just sold a bunch, so we have the money, and then in exchange, we give them a Metacard, and then so they have something, right, that they can verify as theirs. And now we have all this money, and our job is to build shit. So we're going to launch like physical locations. Like we're going to launch Full Send lounges. We're going to start here and then maybe do one in Vegas, Miami, New York. So we're going to launch like physical shit that's only available for our holders.
They promised real-world utility, IRL private clubs in top cities, access to exclusive parties, early drops, and decision-making through the DAO. And because Nelk had delivered before with merch and with Happy Dad with podcast access, fans believed them. Within minutes, all 10,000 NFTs were gone. $23 million raised overnight. No VCs, no investors, just fans. But promises are easy to make, and trust, once spent, isn't always easy to earn back. January 2022, 10,000 Metacards, $23 million, and then silence, then months. And for the fans who had bought in, something became clear. The promises, they weren't being kept.
We're starting the process of opening the first Full Send gym in
How does
OC.
that process? Okay. How far
North
out do you think
America.
we are from opening the OC?
6 months.
Nice. And then they'll just start
But
coming out?
we could have like 5 to 6 this year.
That'd be
The
wild.
first Full Send club location touted as an IRL benefit for Metacard holders was vaguely teased in Miami, but never officially launched. The DAO, a decentralized group that holders were supposed to be a part of, never formed, but no such governance ever materialized. Even more confusing, John Shahidi, who had played a key role in building Full Send, Happy Dad, and Metacard, began to disappear from the picture. No more podcast appearances, no public updates, no explanation. In mid-2023, fans noticed his absence and started to ask, but no official statement ever came. Whether he stepped back or simply took a different role, we don't know. But one thing was clear, the energy behind Metacard was fading. Without updates, transparency, or direction, the community began to fracture. Some holders sold at a loss, others held out on blind faith, and some just stopped caring altogether. Because when a brand known for consistent engagement goes radio silent, the silence speaks volumes. And for the first time, the fans who built Full Send, the ones who bought the shirts, drank the seltzer, promoted the brand for free, felt like customers, abandoned ones. As 2022 turned to 2023, the Metacard community was still waiting. The clubs never opened, the DOA never launched, and aside from early merch perks and a few vague updates, the roadmap had vanished. And Nelk, they moved forward. Their podcast expanded. Happy Dad grew into one of the fastest growing seltzer brands in the US, with new state rollouts, a Death Row Records flavor, and massive retail partnerships. But Metacard barely mentioned. When fans commented under their content asking for updates, these comments often disappeared. The conversation was quietly being erased. But here's where it gets complicated. That's Alec Phillips. A Metacard holder who became such a vocal supporter, he was brought onto the Happy Dad promotional team.
So I was in San Diego, and in August of that same year, they ended up doing a podcast with Elon Musk, and they were all going to watch it at the headquarters, which is now our office for Happy Dad, funny enough. But they were going to do it at the Nelk Full Send headquarters, and they wanted to invite some holders really last minute. There's not very many of us that were readily available to go, and also in the Southern California area. So they put it in the Discord. They're like, anyone that can make it, shoot me a DM. And I DM'd them, and they were like, all right. It was like tomorrow. It was like, show up like tomorrow, 5 p.m. if you can make it. And I was like, all right, sure. So I pulled up, and everybody was there, Kyle and John and Sam and Steiny and all those guys. So we ended up hanging out there like all night and trying some of the new flavors for Happy Dad and all this stuff, and just hanging out.
For Alec, the Metacard wasn't a scam, it was an opportunity. A way to connect, to contribute, to go from fan to being part of the brand.
So like on a personal level, like, do you think that they're bad people and their intentions from the start were to walk out with 23 million and do nothing? Or
no, I mean, knowing them, knowing John, knowing some of the guys in Nelk, like, no, there's no way they went into this with the intention of scamming their fans. The proof is in the last 10 years of what they've done. They love their fans more than any other creator online. That's why they have the ability to sell this merch out. That's why they have the power behind drinking Coronas and then translated that into Happy Dad. They care about their fans more than any other like creator online. And so I think that they're also, to their own fault, a little too ambitious. And so, I mean, selling alcohol is extremely hard. Creating an independent alcohol business is so hard, and they went out and did it. And so, like, to have that kind of ambition, you have to be a little crazy. And so I think that they had these wild dreams of having bars and gyms and hotels, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work out.
So maybe this wasn't a rug pull. Maybe it was over ambition. A project launched with the hype, but without the follow through to back it up. The result? Still disappointing, but the intention, that's where things get murky. This wasn't the first NFT controversy, and it won't be the last, because what happened with Metacard isn't just a Nelk problem, it's a system problem. We're living in an age where influence has become currency, and fans have become investors, but they're investing in more than just tokens or merch, they're investing in people, in trust, in identity, and that's what makes the pain feel personal when things fall apart. Because when Nelk launched Metacard, fans weren't buying access to clubs or events, they thought they were buying into the future of full send. But forever is a long time, and building real value takes more than hype, more than followers, more than one tweet and a mint button. The Metacard floor now sits at under 2% of its mint price. Thousands of loyal fans were left with digital tokens and no clear path forward, and still no refunds, no public accountability, no post-mortem. But also, because in the midst of all of this, some still believe. And maybe that's the most revealing part of the story, that the line between fan and funder, between creator and capitalist, has never been thinner. And when creators sell identity, community, and access, but deliver products instead, someone always gets left holding the bag. The Nelk Boys weren't the first creators to turn hype into hard cash. There's another YouTuber who went even further. A man who filmed a dead body, launched a failed NFT, and still managed to become a billionaire business mogul. Click here to watch how Logan Paul scammed his fans, dodged cancellation, and somehow came out on top. I'll see you there.